It's Pete from Cheap Homesteading. We're in the maple woods today and we're going to start tapping the trees. The temperature has risen and next week is going to look beautiful, so we better get them tapped. So basically we tap the trees along the trail, the close ones, in spiles and buckets. So I'm going to show you how I tap the trees, and it just looks a whole lot more aesthetically pleasing when you see buckets as you're coming towards the sugar shack. It just looks a little bit nicer than pipelines for sure. But buckets are a whole lot of work. Pipeline is so much easier. So we're going to start this. So let's go. So I carry around a sap bucket and I hold all my spiles. I'm using a cordless drill. I have went around in the past and actually just used a hand drill. It is actually kind of nice going around being quiet in nature and drilling and tapping the trees, but it takes forever. These are the bigger of the maple trees I have. I don't have very many big trees in the bush, but this one stretch on top of the ridge has beautiful maples in it. These are bigger. Anything over 8 inch, you can put 2 taps in. Anything smaller than that, you really should only use 1, and you shouldn't go much smaller than 6 inch, really. So you can see here, there's a tap hole from the previous year. We are going to tap it a little bit to the side. We're not going to tap it in line with this one. I mainly tap the south side of the trees, so I'll put one here, and I'll probably put one here. I've heard some people say the north side of the tree gives all kinds of sap. That has not been my experience here. If I tap the north side of the tree, I'm not going to get very much at all. You need the sun beating on the tree to suck up the sap out of the roots. And the other side just doesn't get the sun, so it's not going to be half as productive in my book anyways. I got a cordless drill and we're going to start tapping the trees. You want to put the new taps just a bit off where the old taps are. You don't want to put them in line. So I'm going to put the new spile here, and we're going to drill it on a bit of an angle. So what you want is the hole to slope forward a bit. Put the drill in reverse, and I just run it in and out a few times just to clear the hole. Look at that, the sap is starting to run. I really should have had my whole maple bush tapped by now. I always seem to be running late. Okay, so you get your spile, you tap it in. You want to make sure it's tapped in real nice and solid. You want to make sure that, number one, it's not going to fall back out. And number two, you want to make a good seal around the edge of the hole in the spile. Okay, so now you just hang your bucket on. To keep stuff from falling in, they come with these lids. I used to use bags and stuff without buying the lids, but it's so much nicer to have the lids that fit the buckets, because it's like seamless when you go to dump it. You just pull it off, you dump it, and put it back on. If you have bags, you have to rewrap them every time, and that's a pain, and wind blows and water gets in. So I definitely recommend getting the lids for the buckets. Let's go tap the rest. Really only want to drill into the tree about that far, enough to hammer in the spile. I tap 30 to 40 of my trees with buckets and spiles. Otherwise, it's way too much work every night going and trying to dump the sap and everything. But I find 30 to 40 is not so bad. I can go out and dump it and haul it, and then the rest go into the big cubes. Then I only have to move the sap closer to the sugar shack after that. These are beautiful old maples, and these are always great producers. They're a little bit slow to get going, but once they go, they really dump a lot of sap and quick. Maple season is the first sure sign of spring for sure. Okay, so I got those trees tapped and this tree. Okay, so now we're gonna tap these trees over here. There's another real nice one right there. I should have tapped those last weekend. I just ran out of time, so my goodness, we got to get this tapped today or I'm in some serious trouble. So we got to keep going. I got all the trees tapped that I was going to put buckets on. I'm short about 3 or 4 more buckets because last year some of them sprung a leak, so I'm gonna have to run out and get some of those, but they all have taps in them. I'm gonna show you. There's 2 over there. We've got those on. It does kind of look nice as you come up to the sugar shack to see the buckets. And those are really the easier ones to get to for sure. I got a few buckets near the sugar shack. I got those on. So there you go, the buckets are completed, and now I'm on to the pipeline. So you guys have a good one.